Federal Statutes on Westlaw for the Intellectual Property Research course at Boston College Law School. If you know the citation to a statute, the quickest way to get there on Westlaw is to type it in the Westlaw search bar. This can be done from any Westlaw screen since Westlaw recognizes citations and will pull up the citation. This is 15 U.S.C. section 1051, the first section of the Federal Trademark Act. At the top of this code section, there are two places you can see how this section fits into the code. The first is above the effective date, where there are links to the larger units of the U.S. Code. There's a link to Title 15, Commerce and Trade, and also links to the chapter and subchapter that this section is in. The other is the Table of Contents link, which should be checked whenever you read a statute. Looking at the code section in context lets you quickly find additional code sections you may need to read. Because this is a long section with many subsections, it also has a section outline. This helps provide an overview of what is included in this code section and also allows you to jump down to a relevant subsection you are interested in. Below the text of the code section, we see the credits, which provide references to the public laws that enacted and amended this code section. At the top, after the Document tab, is the Notes of Decisions tab. Statutes mean what they say, but more than that, they mean what a court says they mean. When you are asked if a particular statute applies in a particular situation, you aren't being asked to speculate. You are being asked to research the case law that interprets and applies the statute. Notes of decisions are references to cases interpreting the statute that were chosen by editors to help researchers find relevant cases interpreting specific legal issues relating to the application of this statute. Notes of decisions are organized by a topical outline, which can be viewed and expanded in the filter column on the left. The History tab provides access to editors' and revisers' notes, which traces the complete history of the statute. Some prior versions of this section, legislative history materials on Westlaw, and a graphical representation of some of the history of this code section. Westlaw has prior versions that let you see how the statute read on a particular date back to 1990. Compare versions to see how the language of a statute has changed over time. Since statutory interpretation relates to the language of the statute, if that language has changed over time, the researcher can easily see if the language being interpreted in a citing case or other document is the same as in the version of the statute being used. The Citing References tab is the access point for KeyCite, Westlaw's citation service. They can help you identify and navigate all documents on Westlaw that could affect the interpretation or validity of a statute. When a document is added to Westlaw, it is searched for citations. When the search problem finds a statutory citation, it adds a reference to that new document in the Citing References section of the Westlaw display for that section. Citing references can be filtered by content type. For example, you can check out secondary sources that cite your statute to increase your understanding of the statute. Once you've selected the content type you are looking for, you can filter the results by a variety of factors or run a search within the results set. You can locate references back to the statute from other annotated statutes or regulations that cite your statute. You can also see how the statute is cited in court documents and pleadings. And you can locate every case that has ever cited the statute you are working with. KeyCite allows you to search within the KeyCite results using a Boolean search. You can also filter your results by jurisdiction and court, by whether the course is reported or not, and by whether or not it was selected by West editors to be included in the notes of decisions associated with that statute in its annotated code. For those cases included in the notes of decisions, KeyCite allows you to select particular note topics so you can view the cases selected by the editors on that topic. You may also select multiple filters to help you more quickly find those cases within your jurisdiction that seem most relevant to your research inquiry, letting the computer search power do the initial screening so you have more time to read the potentially relevant cases. The last tab, Context and Analysis, provides additional editorial references that were selected for inclusion in the print version of this code. When editors read cases to write headnotes, they also identify cases that could potentially affect the validity of a statute and provide warnings to alert the researcher of that danger. The red flag at the top of this statute links to the validity section of the History tab. This statute was recognized as unconstitutional by the cases listed here. Validity also alerts the researcher to proposed and enacted legislation that may impact the statute. Proposed legislation that would affect the statute, if enacted, is marked with a yellow flag. Enacted legislation that alters statutory language, which is not yet incorporated into the code, is marked with a red flag. If you don't have a citation to the code section you want, you can use tools like the USCA Index or Popular Name Table. If you need to run a full-text search to find a statute, consider running an advanced search. Advanced search fields allow for advanced search fields for statutes allows you to search just the text of the statute or just the annotations or even the historical notes.